Greetings, villains, vigilantes, heroes, and heroines.
You're tuned in to Project SuperVillain. We're your hosts. I'm ArcDrifter.
I'm Killboss.
We're back with another top 5. Guess what, guys? April's coming up. But that's not actually that good of news because there's not that many good games coming out this month. Was a little bit disappointed going through the list here, but we've got some cool ones here, so we're still going to go through it. We're still going to make our video. We're still going to have a good time. I'm still going to twist my nipples later.
I want you guys to understand exactly how slow this month is for games. We had almost, not one, but 2 fucking sports games on this list. One of them we didn't even give a fuck about, and it was on there. That's how slow it's been.
The other one's still on there, and I do give a fuck about it, but we'll talk about that later.
That one's okay, though. The other one,
It's a sorry time when there's this many sports games on our list. Wow. Let's move on.
Number 5, Terrorbain.
Terrorbain!
The T sounded like it was part of that capitalization. I want you to try again.
Okay. Terrorbain!
We're joking around because it's coming out April 1st, so it's not a joke that's actually happening. But anyway, PC, Nintendo Switch. You can expect it on those platforms, and it's developed by Bit9 Studio and published by Whisper Games.
So this game is actually a highly unique and innovative concept that I don't see played around with too often. As a matter of fact, the last time I heard of something similar to this was Eternal Darkness, way back in the early 2000s. But the idea is that you are playing as a character inside of a poorly designed video game, and you have to use the bugs and glitches around you that happen in the game to your advantage to progress and make it through combat scenarios, among other things. And these glitches will sometimes hinder you, or you will need to solve a puzzle based around them. But yeah, that's the main point. You are using glitches to your advantage in this game.
So it's using a JRPG style as well, just with that big major twist as well. That's super cool. And it's got a big comedy focus as well, so expect to be laughing your ass off while you're playing as well. And it's likely to have a lot of fourth wall breaking moments.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of the times that like this game will kind of address the player oftentimes, or there will be things that you recognize from playing video games yourself. You're like, oh, I've encountered bugs like that before, or that's definitely happened to me. It looks like it's going to be making a lot of commentary on the stuff that gamers experience and do in video games from a day to day. So it just looks really unique and fun, and I'm down to give that a try.
That's looking really cool. But let's move on to our next one.
Number 4, The House of the Dead.
Yes, the House of the Dead remake. Wow, I didn't expect to ever see this one in my lifetime. It's just one of the things I didn't think about. But it's coming out on April 7th for the Switch. It's a Switch exclusive. This one's developed by Megapixel Studio and published by Forever Entertainment and TA Publishing. So we've got a couple companies putting the bill on this one. I'm glad they did, because it is cool to see the House of the Dead coming back after so many years. I just didn't think people actually cared that much about it.
It's super weird because I didn't even know it was coming out, honestly. I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't know. But we just decided to play the House of the Dead recently anyway on stream.
Yeah, we played House of the Dead on stream. We played all 3 of the old arcade games because I bought a couple of Sinden light guns from the UK. Those are really great. Yeah, if you've got a PC and you want to emulate some old light gun arcade games, that's the way to do it. Yeah, get the 2-player pack. No, you don't want just one around. That's right. You know, if you got friends. If you don't, well, then I guess still buy the 2-player pack and use double guns, because that's fun. So yeah, super hyped to see that this series is going to be making a comeback. I wish it was under slightly better circumstances, but we'll get into why in a little bit. But needless to say, House of the Dead, one of my favorite series of all time. Spent money on those guns to make sure I could play it the old-fashioned way, and I'm really excited to see it coming back.
It's again, wish it to be better. Unfortunately, we'll get into that again. How the game plays, it's a little bit not how you'd expect, but it does appear to have all the elements modernized, graphics-wise. Like everything looks really cool. The models and everything are obviously not going to be like you'd expect it to be back in the arcade. It's definitely going to be updated. Audio as well. Like man, that's going to be a huge upgrade because all these things are from really old technology at this point. So it should be a big upgrade in that department at least.
Okay, the cool thing to me is that this looks like it is a actual remake, like a one-to-one remake of the original first classic House of the Dead title. And That's awesome, because usually when they do remakes, they change some things here and there. Some games they change more, some games they change less. This one looks like it's like actually 1-to-1, and I like the idea of that. That being said, I do hope there are a couple twists in there that make me go like, oh, that's new or that's different. But seeing how faithfully they have recreated it gives me a lot of faith that people in the studio that are making this game, they really care and love the original games. So I know that it's going to be an awesome game. It just looks like it. They even went so far in as to seemingly intentionally keep the terrible voice acting in the game. Like, hearing some of the ways the characters talk in the trailer is just like, oh, you did that on purpose, didn't you?
Reload.
Yeah, like, actually, that's the one thing in the game that they seem to have changed, like, a little bit.
Fuck, of course.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like, you hear in the trailer, it's like, reload. It's like, wow, that's way less intrusive. Nice job.
Yeah, it was really annoying. We were just, like I said, we were playing the originals, and the entire
reload.
Anytime. It's
Reload. Shoot outside the screen.
That being said, let's move on to the next one.
Number 3, LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
And this is coming out April 5th, guys. So PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch as well. So it's just the full shebang. So it's going to be developed by TT Games and published by Warner Brothers. This game is exactly what you remember. It's been going on since like the GameCube times. Third-person action adventure, 2 players, just essentially a comedic version of the story that you're familiar with. But this is the whole thing, man. Every single episode of the Star Wars series for the main like saga that is in here. And then they've also added apparently extra stuff too, so we'll get into that as well.
So before we begin proper, it is important to mention that this game was stuck in development hell for a goddamn long time. It had been dogged with issues and delays after delays after delays, and a lot of these stemmed from there was rumors of crunch and outdated tools being responsible for all the holdups. So I really hope that the crunch thing isn't actually true, because that'll make me feel a little bit dirty about even wanting to play this game. I just don't agree with crunch, so there is that. But, you know, it's Warner Brothers, so I wouldn't be shocked at all to hear that's true. But yes, this game is massive. It will encompass the story of all 9 films in the anthology. Just every single movie that's come out in the the major timeline will be in there. That will equal 45 story missions, plus there will be side missions in each and every segment that you're going through, and multiple routes to do for to achieve completion on each of those segments.
You might be familiar with the way the game plays it to achieve completion. It's not just multiple paths. You've got all these unlockables and stuff like that to collect and stuff. So expect lots of gameplay for this game. And to continue on with that, 300 playable characters, I'm pretty sure, or something like that I saw. And that's a lot of fucking playable characters, dude, throughout every single game. I'm sure there's going to be many, and probably 10 variants of Anakin Skywalker, but that's fine. So just like previous games in the series as well, well-known planets, moons, and space stations from the films will be acting as like your central hubs where you can go to each different world. Past that, there's multiple levels, like we said, and so you're gonna have different housing units for each one.
Okay. It's like many of the other LEGO games beforehand, this one will also feature a massive gameplay variety. You are going to have your melee combat, obviously, playing as Jedis wielding lightsabers. There is cover-based shooting as well for the characters that don't use lightsabers and are more akin to using the blaster pistols, more familiar with those. Blaster pistols, blaster rifles, blasters. Just blasters, man. Lasers, fuck. But there's also going to be space flight and dogfights in space with Star Wars spacecraft. How fucking fun does that sound? I mean, I know we've had games like that before, but, still, fucking, who doesn't want to fight in an X-Wing?
Fucking lasers, man!
Yeah, fucking lasers. More of them. Big lasers on spaceships. Does it not sound like a good time to you?
Laser guns, laser rifles, laser blasters,
laser swords!
Plastic rifles.
Plastic rifles? Well, no. No.
Oh, yes, it's Lego.
Actually, yes, it is. And finally, you do have all the features that are just there for dumb fun. Like, you can have Baguette lightsabers, which is that's perfect.
Oh.
You can even have you can even have them speak in Simish if you want. There's an option where you can change all the dialogue to all these guttural grunts and growls and mumbles and shit, and it just makes it so much more funny because everybody's talking.
That's classic Lego Star Wars. They
fucking
have
amazing.
voice actors now, I'm pretty sure, but like
Yeah.
in the old days, like back on the GameCube, that's how they played. It was like,
And they still have that.
but that's all we've really got to tell you guys about for the Lego Star Wars saga. So check that out soon, and let's move on to our next one.
Okay.
Number 2, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Holy fucking shit! It's here! We're gonna get it! Finally, we can do bowling in the tennis again without having to set up the Wii. It's coming out April 29th at the end of the month, so you still gotta wait a month. And it's only for the Switch, of course. It's Nintendo Switch Sports. Would you expect it coming out on the fucking PlayStation? That
Yeah?
would be funny as fuck.
What the fuck, man? It's not coming out on PlayStation?
Sorry, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Whoa, I'm gonna go on Twitter and like rant about like why PlayStation is better and why it should come out on there.
Somebody doing that.
There, I know there is. I'm gonna go join them right now. I'm gonna go contribute to Pony Salt.
Guess what, guys? Groundbreaking news. It's developed and published by, get this,
Oh my god! Nintendo! Developed and published their own game, man! What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it either. So, while you take that in, let me explain to you the rundown of the game. It's exactly what you remember from Wii Sports, except with a couple more things, and it's tuned up. I pretty much just summed up the whole thing. Tennis, bowling, soccer, volleyball, badminton, sword fighting. There's good stuff. It's gonna be fun. I don't know where I was going with that. But you can have a leg strap for your dick. Joy-Con.
To hold your junk while you play. Yeah, I guess I'll go with local multiplayer, I guess. Right. So, the game, like any good game should, will feature local and online multiplayer. Good thing you have both of those there. I mean, it would be a fucking travesty if this game didn't have local multiplayer. Like, come on, man! That's like the whole reason the original one sold well, because you and your friends could get together in a room and act fucking stupid and get drunk and throw your Wiimote through your TV.
Oh,
Everyone was laughing. It was a good time.
How many fail clips are featuring Wii Sports, you think, with that particular, fail happening, where someone throw their fucking things in the TV?
It's like, wear the fucking strap, dog.
Yeah, it's there for a reason. I personally, when I'm doing games like that, I think it's definitely a good thing to use. When you're sitting there just gaming like this, okay, wearing the wrist straps is fucking stupid. But you know what?
Yeah,
otherwise,
like, wear the strap. Like, wear
Yeah.
the fucking strap.
wear the strap. Put it on. Hey, get the strap.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, get your pants off.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it basically is a modernized and more convenient version of Wii Sports. I mean, who wants to fucking dig out the light bar for the Wii and set it up and hope to God it fucking works with your TV? Just get this version if you want to play more Wii Sports, and you can have a great time, hassle-free.
Yeah, just like you remember back in the good old days on the Wii. That was a good console.
That was.
Let's move on.
And our honorable mention is Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition.
Radical!
It is radical, isn't it? Chrono Cross the Radical Dreamers Edition is coming out on April 7th, so it's not too far off. That one's coming out for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. As you'd expect, it is developed by Square Enix, but also D4 Enterprise, and also published by Square Enix, so... Another big surprise for you, Square Enix is publishing their own games. Who the fucking thought?
Oh no, I just realized it's not coming out on the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S and X, so I can't play this at 4K Ultra HD dick fucking... I'm just kidding. You don't need that for this kind of game, trust me, guys.
No, fuck that! I want to be able to see the veins on my main character's throbbing meat.
Okay, well, you're
Fix
gonna have
it!
to look, it upscales, I bet. But, yeah, that being said, I'm just messing around. This kind of game isn't really meant for, insane graphics anyways. This is a classic JRPG. It's brought back to life and remastered, so yes, it is going to look better than it looked back in the day.
The reason this is on here is because neither of us have ever played this game, but we know how near and dear it is to so many people out there. I have a few coworkers who love the shit out of this game. One of them claims it's their favorite game of all time. Like, if they could just play one game, it would be this one, and they've done that. They've played it so many times. So I know people definitely love this game. Yes, it doesn't look impressive because it was released way back in the 90s.
Look, guys, graphics don't ever really make a game. Let's be real. There's so many great games with shit graphics, so let's just, move on from that anyway.
There we go. So, it is a remaster of Chrono Cross, yes. And also, the Radical Dreamers Edition will be getting released with the Radical Dreamers text-based adventure novel, It's included with this package, fully translated, and it ties into the main game. This was never released in North America before. This was like a Japan exclusive thing. So if you are a fan of the series and you want more lore behind it, you're going to be getting that with it as well.
AI upscaled graphics will be featured in this, and 3 different scaling options for 4 to 3, 16 to 9, and zoomed mode.
So yeah, basically depending on how big you want the display, the 4:3 mode will be the classic square display with the backgrounds the way they are. 16:9 will stretch the image a little bit, which will look a little bit funny, but it's not all that bad. It's just you'll notice a little bit of stretch to it. And then there's the zoomed mode, which it just it still works in a full widescreen. It looks like 16:9, but it's not really. They just zoom in to fill more of the frame up. So you'll notice some differences there, but it gives you options in how you want the scaling to work and how good you want it to look on a modern display. They've also updated the character models, so they're using HD character models and character portraits now, but they do give you the option to switch back and forth between those two. You cannot mix and match those things.
And on top of this, a remastered soundtrack, of course. I hope so. Usually the soundtracks in JRPGs is one of the best parts. But there's no switching to the classic soundtrack, unfortunately. That is important.
That is unfortunate, yeah. They should. It would be nice if you had the option to, but yeah, you can't switch back and forth.
Lots of games give you that option. It's sad that they couldn't do that. Well, that's what they decided. It's Square Enix for you.
Give me DLC.
Yeah, they'll fucking DLC that shit. You know it. You're like, oh, you want to play with the classic soundtrack? That's $249.
Capcom did it. Why can't we?
Yeah, you know what? That's actually not too surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. Look at us, guys. We figured out what they're gonna do. You heard it first here. Project SuperVillain. Let's move on to the next point we have, which is so Square Enix is going to be including cheats that are optional, of course. You have the ability to change game speed if you'd like. You can turn off enemy encounters, which that would be a lot faster, I bet.
Right.
And auto battle mode, which I'm guessing just will fight the thing for you using. I don't know how that would work. Do you use up all your fucking potions on you?
Well, I don't know necessarily how the whole thing would work, but the auto battle mode is basically you can set the battles to obviously just go automatically, and it's supposed to help with grinding and stuff like that. If you're trying to grind for something, you can obviously just come on and have it grind away for you. I'm not entirely sure what the penalties would be for that if you lose certain fights and things like that. Maybe it just stops, but they never really elaborated too much on that just yet. So we'll have to see when that comes out. Unless it was a feature in the older game, which I've never played, so I wouldn't know. So somebody can educate us on that if they feel like it.
Comments down below, please do. In fact, let us know what you think of this entirely, because we're going to move on to our next one now. Last?
Number 1. Midnight Ghost Hunt.
What the fuck? Ow! Oh, fucking...
Oh, Charlie Horse! Charlie Horse! Jesus Christ, man! I'm trying to prop hunt!
What the fuck was that?
I'm trying to prop hunt, you know? Fuck! Oh yeah, this game looks really cool. So we're kind of cheating here with this one, guys. A little bit. It's March 31st is the release for this, and if I have this video out when I want it to be out, that should be tomorrow. And it's coming into early access, so we are definitely cheating. This isn't even the full release, but it's coming out on PC. We were just so excited to see this game come out. It's going to be developed by Vaulted Sky Games and published by Coffee Stain Publishing. Haven't really heard too much about them, aside from what they did here, but this game looks really cool. If you're a fan of Prop Hunt, you'll be familiar with this gameplay, more or less.
Yeah, we saw this game at an E3 presentation. I can't remember exactly what year that was, but ever since then we've been waiting for some kind of information on this game, and now we finally got a release date, and even though it's not a full release, early access is fine, so we're excited to bring you guys some information about it. So it's going to be a 4v4 horror hide-and-seek kind of thing, with a lot of elements of prop hunt and phasmophobia in there. You will notice those in the way. Basically, it's unlicensed Ghostbusters.
Similar to these other games, it's going to have phases in it. This game specifically has 3 phases. It's going to have a prep phase, a hunting phase, and a third phase we're going to just call the carnage phase. We're going to get into each one individually here. Now, the first phase is the prep phase, like I said. So in this phase, the ghost hunters are just gathering their equipment, getting ready to go, and just essentially establishing the plan of attack of what they're going to do. In this time, the ghosts, on the other hand, are setting up their traps, they're setting up themselves, and getting situated so that they don't get caught.
So after the prep phase is the hunting phase, in which the Ghostbusters will attempt to bust the ghosts while the ghosts try to survive until midnight. If the ghosts do manage to survive until midnight, that will begin the carnage phase, where any ghosts that have been killed previously will be resurrected from the dead, and the ones that are still alive will be given, like, superpowers. They'll all turn into angry fucking wraiths. And at that point, they will come after all the hunters and murder them with super strength and superpowers. The odds apparently do feel a bit stacked against the hunters in this phase. It apparently feels a bit unbalanced, but, lots of time for that to change.
It's essentially a punishment for you not capturing the ghosts, so you better just win the first round, otherwise you're just going to get your ass kicked. That's essentially the game. But you can survive, which is what makes it good. It makes it so people are just going to fucking leave if they lose the first round.
Yeah.
You can get through it if you just try hard. It's going to be tough, though.
Probably got to work together, I'd imagine, stay in a group and all that kind of stuff.
I'll play the other team, because it's a team-based game, guys. It requires teamwork.
And again, yes, it is an early access, too, so just keep in mind, there's a lot of time for things to change, okay? This is technically still a beta, so it's not a full release or anything like that. It's a bit disappointing, but still, there's lots of time for the community to be involved in the change. I have faith in developers based on what I've seen so far, but we'll see what happens when the game actually comes out and how much they support it. I think that they will, so... Yep. I'm hoping so. Hopefully they don't prove me wrong on that.
Yeah. And... Alright, we got some guns! There's guns in this game, guys. The ghost hunters have various weaponry to use against the ghosts. You can see there on the screen. I don't have very much in-depth details about that, but some of them do look really cool there, as you can see. And I'm very interested to see more about that in the future.
Yeah, like, honestly, playing as the ghost hunters looks like really more interesting because you get all the weapons and the gadgets and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what it's all about. We'll definitely be checking this one out when it's released.
Well, that leaves us at the end of our video. Once again, we've gone through 6 games to take a look at for this upcoming month, and these all look pretty good. Again, this month was a little slower than others, so it wasn't really like it was a hard choice. These were pretty well 5, only one of them games coming out. If there's an MLB game coming up, who gives a fuck about that? Sorry if you do, but not me.
But yeah, we just don't care.
But that being said, if you enjoyed the content, if you like what we're trying to do here, we really appreciate any and all support. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Feel free to like the video. Helps us out a ton.
Alright guys, those are the top 5 games for April, plus an honorable mention, so we will see you in the next video. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.
Project dismissed.
Ciao.
Right.